Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Hello guys, and welcome to another Twisted Fate only video, or TF only video. Today I'll try to analyze my best a video I played with my duo queue in NA, and we managed to have Dekar in our team, who most of you probably know as Ringer OTP. He agreed to swap with us because he got mid somehow, and I got top, and no, my duo got mid, I got top, and he got jungle. So we managed to triple swap our roles because he usually plays top lane, and it led to a triple swap. So it's all good. Now Dekar though randomly pathed away from us and conceded first blood onto the Kaisa. Luckily he didn't use any sums. I mean, it sucks for our bot lane, but our bot lane should still be stronger 2v2. But me and my duo were kind of like really laughing at this point, saying what the fuck is he doing. I thought I was playing against Zillion because I didn't really watch the later portion of Champion Select, so my runes were selected for Zillion, but they're not too bad against Aatrox, even though I would have wanted different ones. Aatrox is shoving up here, and I called that to my duo, and it's gonna be a really easy gank setup for me and Pantheon to get onto the Aatrox and slowly mow him down. We managed to get the Aatrox, and then we're trying to go for the Hecarim. My duo ends up getting Minion blocked, which looks embarrassing, and then this is the beautiful thing. The Hecarim greets for the Dark Harvest rune, which allows me to queue next to the wall and then flash card him as he comes up with my flash. And I really love this like small thing where you know your damage when he's coming back for the Dark Harvest stack, and then my cooldowns are coming up, so we get an easy 2-for-1 early on into the game, and I end up being double buffed. Here I was like, damn dude, I'm gonna die. I need to get out because I tried to crash in the wave, so he misses as many minions on gold and XP as possible, but he came back really quick to lane, and I just needed to crash in the wave so he doesn't freeze it, and I don't end up missing on my portion. One sec, because I feel like I'm actually getting a cold because I just woke up, so just one sec. Dekar managed to actually shove out top versus the Cho'Gath, and then he found a solo kill onto the Hecarim because we knew Hecarim would go towards his blue and spawn, and then my duo is there cleaning up as well. So at this point Hecarim is really behind. I see no sign of Aatrox, so I end up shoving another wave, and I'm pretty safe with the double buffs at this point. So I'm thinking to myself, I see where my duo is, I should just shove out the wave and try to be close proximity in case Hecarim finds him, so I can quickly rotate the roam. Whereas if Aatrox does it, then Aatrox will miss out on minions in gold because his wave will be crashed in. So I wanted to shove in the wave as quick as possible so I can rotate to my duo in case he needs help. Here I watch the minimap in case I can roam bot, but they die pretty quickly and they have high HP bars. I have not hit 6, so I choose to go back to lane and then keep shoving out mid lane as my duo is spotted on golems. So there's no point for me to freeze because my duo hasn't backed yet, and he probably will still gank top, which is now clear golems or recall, so he won't be coming back mid for a while. So I prioritize shoving out the wave, especially with my flash down, so I can remain safe and then just keep my small lead I've acquired over the Aatrox while remaining safe and not giving him my way back into the game. He's trying constantly to go on me, and then I just find another angle to hit all minions on Q on the side, and then I go back and recall for what's most likely Catalyst. Or that's my thoughts. at this point onwards in the game, because taking too much information about laning phase as if it's now what I'm thinking going into the lane is more playing properly to my duo and maintaining the lead I have now, because I'm still really squishy and I don't have flash, so Aatrox can for sure set up a kill or do some nasty damage onto me, and there's no point for me to play aggressive with the lead. I just need to hit 6 and then try to roam with it, because Dekar is doing well, my jungler is doing well, bot lane isn't doing too bad, and I spot my duo running bot to fight. So I Q the Kaisa, which I end up getting, then I get Zillion as well because I wanted KP on both from my roam, and I managed to angle the Q correctly to get the Kaisa. I managed to catch up to the Zillion because of my duo stunning him, and it ended up being a really good roam that was extended from the 2v2 fighting that persisted, and it allowed me to roam there because the fight took way too long and the enemy team are not respecting that there's a TF and Pantheon on the other team. Well, my duo is only 5, he could only walk there by how long it took, but it was a nice little victory for our team nonetheless. Here, as Aatrox is again randomly basing at a bad point, I end up shoving the wave and slowly chippering away at the turret, and my flash is still on cooldown, it's coming up soon, so the best moment here is just to try and shove out as efficiently as possible, and I think I have Rod now because of the roam and a few more waves I've soaked, so it should, or do I have Rod? Yeah, okay. I needed like a couple of more gold before I would buy Rod, so that's probably why. Else I would have bought it instantly to try and proc the passive to gain it. You know, even if it's 10 seconds sooner for the first stack, it can be helpful in some situations. I return to lane and I'll keep going with the same game plan to shove mid if possible. Here he's pulls me towards the edge, so I think no, okay. I think about flashing, but he kind of like already went off because he had too many cooldowns, but I was a bit taken by surprise by the width of his W on how slow and how much pulled I was towards the middle, because it was really on the edge, and then it just pulled me towards the center. Dekar and my duo are playing there, and I'm pinging them to go back because I don't really have much HP, but I end up coming late because I wanted to crash in the wave nonetheless and hope they would make it. So Dekar is then gonna trade himself while I secure Cho'Gath and get out. Here though, the Aatrox ult is really fast and he's gonna actually make it in time, and again it roots me at the end of it, which pisses me off a bit, but it makes me end up dying because I tried to path, but he still gained ranged on it, so I tried to path towards my tower, but then I had to path towards the Hecarim and it still locked me into the center because I didn't path sooner enough. So I end up buying Boots of Swiftness because I don't want that ever happening to me again, because I've been constantly slowed as he's put it on me, and then I've always been on the edge of it, then pulled to the center. So I lack the movement speed needed to get out efficiently from it. So I thought to myself, I should get Boots of Swiftness. It's a cheap item. I don't have enough gold for Aetherwisp. And then this is gonna help to reduce the slow, and then it's gonna give me the movement speed I need to get out of the Aatrox skill, which pulls me towards the center. I keep going back to the style where I push the wave because I don't want to remain 1v1 versus the Aatrox. I still consider I have a massive lead over him and our team is doing well, so I don't want to be stuck in lane. I spot the Aatrox clearing a pink ward, so I rush to clear the wave so I can start poking away at the tower. I see Hecarim in bot lane as well, so I try to chip as much damage onto the turret as possible. I calculate by how much Aatrox can remain in distance to me in order to gain enough distance to damage me, and I do it correctly and get out this time around from his center pull. Here I'm a bit surprised by his dash and Q, how far it reached me to poke me a bit, but it was, I would say it was educational to learn how much it can pull me there on the Q poke. My duo ends up ganking, which was really strange because I didn't really want the gank. We could see their bot lane rotating, I believe, which I tell them later in Discord, but our team ends up cleaning 2 people regardless because of a quick response from our team. So it didn't end too bad, but I think the gank was really forced from my duo and it shouldn't really have happened in that fashion, because we don't need to kill Hecarim anymore, in my opinion. Here Hecarim is gonna try to kill himself. I'm surprised Lucian didn't get him with his E reset, but I guess he wasn't high level enough. I thought maybe he was level 9, which is ironic because I'm level 9 and he's level 7. Then he would have had more items and more attack speed to get up his E. So I stunned and tanked the turret thinking Lucian would have his E up again and then auto attack and kill the Hecarim. But at least we ended up getting the Cho'Gath that I stunned and then Pike pulled, and then Lucian poked and ulted, so we managed to get 1. But I thought to myself that I wanted the Hecarim there as well, but oh well, it ended 3 for 1 despite my duo doing a kind of bit of a bad ult into the mid lane on a forced gank that wasn't needed. I path top because I'm watching the minimap that it's slowly pushing up, and I want to push this for a while to get my Lich Bane, and I know I'm strong enough to try and bully the Cho'Gath out. I also saw the juicy wave. I'm not gonna lie, it was very tempting for me to soak, and since I'm the one doing the best on the team, I thought I should just try to get as much farm as possible and try to carry this game, especially since their team comp doesn't pose much of a threat to TF. So if I get fed, I can control this game substantially. I return back to top lane and I'm soon getting my flash. I'm keep watching the minimap on where my team is. They're all kind of like bot centric at this point, so it's a bit hard for me to be raged to ult. But now my team poked that they might be coming topwards, which I think was spotted perhaps on a ward, but I'm not too sure. I don't think it was spotted on a ward, it was just a precautious pink because everyone was missing. Here I misunderstand Dekar because I believe he already ulted, but it was on cooldown, and then he keeps pinging me that I should have gone on the Cho'Gath when he didn't have ult. So I tried to catch the Hecarim, but Hecarim has E because I wanted to try and make Dekar jump from blue. And then I end up flashing because I typed in chat my bad, thought he ulted. But me standing still there baited the Hecarim slightly. So we managed to get 2 kills for nothing because they led to believe I DC'd or something, or forced the engage when they saw me standing still. So it ended up good for me just typing randomly, which is coincidental, it wasn't planned. But then this time around it ended up working. My duo overstays for no reason. I try to flank and get onto them. I burst the Kaisa because I know we can remain close. I misclicked my mouse and pathed wrong, but it's still fine. We can kite, I believe, if the car goes to the bush, which he doesn't. He does it now, and we end up doing. I missed my Q onto the Hecarim and Kaisa because I wanted a Q that hits all three of them, but then Aatrox come with his ult and cleans us up. So that play was a bit messy coming in. Me and Dekar said that it was an unfortunate play and we thought it was going better. We also typed that we thought Lucian was coming from mid, but he wasn't. Lucian recalled, and then Lucian is later telling us that he was out of mana, and that's the reason he didn't come towards us, because both of us thought it was a better play than it was, and it almost worked out really well for us. But me and Dekar then discussed and asked the Lucian, because we believed he was nearby, and then Lucian informed us that he had no mana, so we weren't paying attention to his mana pool, so it ended up becoming a lesser play rather than a good one.
Shut down.
I just realized I'm streaming this on YouTube, aren't I? Or am I streaming it on Twitch? I end up going bot lane, not respecting where the enemy team is, and I kind of like die for free like an idiot, because I know my team is topside doing Scuttle, but we don't have any deep vision or wards, so me shoving bot there was pretty stupid, as I end up dying for free for no reason at all. But that's the only death I die kind of stupidly this game. But that was a really bad death. Like, I wasn't using my brain. I knew it was risky to do to go and push the wave there, but I still went for it for no fucking reason at all. Then my team ends up inting a bit in mid lane after I inted. So at this point in the game I thought to myself, okay, I actually need to think. I shouldn't die anymore, because the Kai's is 7-1. We've had our fun, we got our lead, let's not throw this game because it should be free. And it started with my death, so I felt it was initially my bad, but my team shouldn't have died there either, but I wanted to more punish myself, saying it was my bad, other than it was being my team's bad, and just say, okay, I need to just fix and not die again, and then we win, you know? So I thought of it in a more positive way, that if I don't fuck up, my team doesn't fuck up, and we're all good, we're gonna win. So I go and help them with the mountain, and then I stand here to see if Aatrox is gonna come and check, because perhaps Dekar can come. I didn't know Dekar had cooldown on ult, but I was thinking maybe me and him could burst someone. This time around I spot the Saya, but I mean Kaisa, but I don't want to overstay bot and die again, so I go towards the river where we have vision and see if they're gonna be doing some centric around ours, because the car is still getting into position to pull pressure where my duo is recalling. So we're gonna lack 2 players on the map, so there's no point in me exposing myself. So we're gonna play the Fog of War with TF, Panther, Rengar, and have the any team question where we're at, while our bot lane remains safely and clearing up out and farming mid. So if I were to show, they could assume maybe the other 2 are waiting to do some gank with me or bot, or they could assume that they're recalling and engage on my bot lane. Here I spot everyone fighting on top side, so I know I can backdoor. So I end up doing my best to backdoor this tower, and then my team is My team is constantly pinging me that they're on Baron, which they are, but I don't really care because my team fucked up, they shouldn't have fought. The Pyke is kind of like spam pinging his ultimate like a retard, because he's telling me, oh, but your ult gives vision, right? And for me that's a strange thing, because why would I ever wanna go and ult Baron for vision when they have approximately vision on where they're at? So the Pyke ends up complaining on me that I should have ulted for vision there. But then they manage to get Aatrox, and the rest of the enemy team peels too hard off Baron, so they don't end up getting Baron, which was a mistake by them. But they were too focused on killing Pyke and Pantheon, so it ended up being good for us. But I just don't understand what the fuck Pyke was pinging me to provide vision when they had loosely vision based on their HPs prior to the Baron, and he just wanted me to ult for the position. And my duo already didn't have flash or smite available to him, so for him to steal the Baron was really hard, but they wanted vision for me to either come there or do something else, whereas I was fine trading the Baron for the inhibitor, because it would either encourage the enemy team to stall a bit, which wouldn't really do too much to them, and we could try to still gain the T2 mid or do something slowly, and if they ever lose another team fight, I can backdoor. Here we end up catching the Aatrox passive. Oh yeah, that was a pretty funny moment in the fight. Hang on, let me replay that. So we spot the Aatrox, right? And then we go on him here, and his form is gonna come here, and he gets pulled by Pyke, but he flashes in where my Q hits, and then he dies by Comet here. Or like, he flashed literally into my Comet because I hit him with Q. He got pulled in by Pyke, and then he flashed into my Comet where his Q was. So I thought it was really funny. We end up pulling off Baron and fighting their team, and it went really good for us. And we're gonna kill the majority of them except Aatrox. That hitbox was a bit bullshit, to be honest, but I guess Cho'Gath is so fat that it hit anyway. But we end up getting a lot of kills, and the game is still looking really good because only Kai'Sa is fed. Lucian isn't doing too bad, and Kai'Sa went to buy GA. So even though she's fed, one of her items isn't too teamfight oriented, except on reviving and survival. I end up buying an instant void staff on back because they are running triple. They're running triple melee, and it's kind of hard to go onto the backline to deal with Kai'Sa. And on top of that, even if we do get Kai'Sa, she has GA coming up probably later on if she didn't buy it recently. And then she has a zillion ultimate as well. So me shredding through their tank line is more important, and then Void Staff will do way more damage than Rabadon their top jungle and mid lane. Here I just tell my duo to keep on Baron because I can zone the Hecarim alone with Pike. So I just tell them to keep killing it, and then they kind of surrender the Baron. So we end up getting it for free, which is fine. And then I ping that we should just straight rush the Infernal. And then I ask my duo, why the fuck are you ulting? And he said, ah, it's okay, it's on relatively low cooldown anyway. I mean, he's sitting on 30% cooldown at this point anyway, and it's true. Like, it's already generated 1/4 of the ultimate, but it's just a bit random that he would ult to secure the Infernal at this point before we reset. Because we could use it sooner, or use it as if it's up. So if the enemy team has warded the Infernal and they know that the Pantheon ult is not up, then they won't be as scared to defend or be threatened to all in. Here I'm thinking where to go. Initially I wanted to go top, but I see Dekar going top lane instead. So I end up staying mid with my bot lane, and I want my duo to join rather than farming, because it's being a bit weird. But he doesn't have ultimate to threaten, and he's probably playing around that, or maybe unwillingly playing around that, I'm not sure, in his position. That the enemy team are led to believe that the ultimate is up from Pantheon and he has a chance of engaging, but it's still risky for just us 3 sieging against 5. And now Dekar is farming rather than pushing, so it's just really weird played from my duo and Dekar, because we need to show on the map, we need to pressure with the Baron buff and power up the minions. So I just end up thinking the entire endeavor is really weird for our team. Pike keep pulling in their tanks, which does nothing, and then Dekar kind of like panic ults, or I don't know why the fuck he ulted. But he ends up ulting, and then he runs bottom and takes the he's on the bottom inhibitor. We spot the Kaisa, which tells me I can help burst its tower, but then in the midst of things, as I take the tower, my team gets heavily engaged on, and it's looking bad. So I end up stunning and popping the Aatrox passive. Then I see Dekar is still on the bottom inhib, so I tell myself, okay, I see everyone on the map, I should straight run mid, I should help him with the inhibitor, and then we should try to get out in time, which we are able to do. But I end up ulting because I'm not too trusting in myself. Then I ult behind this pillar to one-shot the Hecarim, which was really free, with the car baiting for me. But then my duo ults in and the car stays for no reason, which I really question as to what the fuck they're doing. Because the car should have just run behind the pillar, and then he should have kept running, and I would have killed Hecarim, you know, any day, and then we would have gotten out 1-4-0 in the situation, where we also got the 2 inhibitors after our team lost the team fight, and it would have been an okay trade. But Dekar and my duo end up staying because they wanted to fight way more than the free kill, and it just made me question as to what the fuck they were doing. But it's fine because we're still scaling, and I'm soon on Rabadon. We have 2 inhibs. It's gonna be easier for me to backdoor. We just need to pressure a bit longer and go topside, and hopefully win a team fight, or if a team fight plays like the last one, I can threaten to backdoor again. And on top, if the car is gonna be bot lane trying to crash in the waves, because he doesn't have too much usage in joining us as 4 people when we're sieging anyway. So he should more threaten and help crash in the waves and play the flank, which I think is more capable of doing at this point in the game. So I join Lucian and we start trying to slowly apply pressure onto mid. That Pamph isn't here yet is fine. Then they kind of see us as alone, and then they take the chance of hard engaging onto us. So Hecarim and Kai'Sa goes really early. I end up letting my Lucian die. Then I run away from my duo because I see Dekar, and then I ult mid lane because I see that the wave is there. So I end up hard backdooring with Dekar, and I know since everyone in the enemy team is away that we can win. Then I try to get the final kill onto Aatrox, and we just end up backdooring the game because my assumption is, like I said previously, either we win a clean team fight or the enemy team is gonna hard engage again. I had flash up, so I was willing to flash over the wall and then ult potentially to backdoor, but when I saw them hard engaging as 4 people and we had already poked out Aatrox, and Aatrox was the only one running back to base to defend or heal up to try and defend against the car, I knew I could soak my duo and let him be on the side versus Hecarim and Kai'Sa that chased the Lucian, whereas Pyke could zone the other 2 that were on him. So I just end up ulting in the middle of both like 2v1s of the Lucian dice. And then we end up backdooring and finishing the game really easily once I spot the car is there with the wave, because I'm really fed and I melt structures, so does Rengar with his Q. So it ends up being a really macro heavy based game after our team were throwing leads and team fights multiple times after being largely ahead, but we still outplayed them in terms of macro, and it ended up yielding us this win. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry about my voice might sounding weird. I hope you enjoyed the commentary or some small or insight or analysis that I might have provided, I'm not sure. But I hope you enjoyed it regardless of my cold and as a whole. So thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.